Welcome to RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network with your hostess, Jen Josie. Join like-minded real estate investors and accelerate your business towards greatness. You will hear step-by-step strategies for success, interviews with real estate rock stars, and we will dig deep into past projects where we bear it all, including the good, the bad, and some just plain ugly. So get excited. Here's the bestower of badassery herself, the real Jen Josie. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, and welcome back. I'm Jen Josie, creator of RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network. Whoop, whoop. On today's episode, we have a guest that will be sharing their badassery. But before we begin, here's today's badassery bestowment, my little badass gift to you. Today's topic is stop with the over-renovating. Now, I know it's tempting to go all out and turn that rundown shack into a palace fit for a king or a queen, but slow down, Cinderella. Let me explain why moderation is key in the flipping game. If you overspend on unnecessary upgrades, you're going to outprice your buyers. Keep it simple, cost-effective, and market-driven. Over-renovating is like wearing a ball gown to a backyard barbecue, and it's not going to impress your buyers or pad your pockets. Stick to the essentials that bring value and attract potential buyers. Cheers to flipping smart and not flipping out. Now, on to today's episode of the Real Estate Investor Growth Network podcast. We have with us Tim Harvilla. Tim is one of my favorite people because he gives me money. Yes, that's right. Tim is a manager for one of our hard money lenders, Fund That Flip. I love Fund That Flip not only because they are so easy to work with, but they are also true partners that work tirelessly to find a perfect solution for our real estate investment needs. What I especially like about Tim is he is local and is involved with our projects from start to finish. He knows the area well and even meets us on site as a true team member. It is my pleasure to have him on the show, so welcome, Tim.
Hey, good morning, Jen. Thank you for having me.
Okay, I always just call you Tim, and I don't think I've ever said your last name to your face. Did I say it right? Harvilla?
Harvilla.
Harvilla, okay.
Harvilla. Yep.
As I was saying, I'm like, oh shit, I never even asked him how to say his... I say that because I had an interview, and I literally said her name wrong the entire time. Podcasting 101, make sure you know their name. So anyway, Tim, it's so great to have you on here. It is early in the morning because you are a busy man. So I am so glad I'm getting the first hour of the day with you. And tell us a little bit about your background. You have a very extensive education, and which I was like, damn, he truly is a badass. So give us a little background on you.
It's pretty diverse. I haven't siloed myself into any one industry as of up until late. So very quick overview. I grew up dairy farming out in the country. We didn't even have a stoplight in my hometown. So the only work was on local dairy farms, baling hay and milking cows.
Where was that?
Outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, down by the West Virginia border,
okay.
Little town of Hickory. Did that, and I was the first male in my family to go to college, and it was a promise I made to my mother and father, that I would graduate. So I graduated from WVU with a bachelor's in agricultural business management. And there was a caveat to that. I was fourth generation Marine Corps. So I told my mom if I graduated, I was enlisted in the Marine Corps. So about 2 weeks later, I shipped off to boot camp. Went down to Paris Island and Camp Lejeune, did 2 tours, one to Iraq and Afghanistan. Immediately got out after 4 years and earned an MBA.
Thank you for your service, by the way. Thank you very much. I did not know this about you. So keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. After the Marine Corps, got out, went right back into school, utilizing that GI Bill. I looked at it as overtime pay because I'll tell you, they didn't pay us very well in the Marine Corps, so had to get the money flowing a little bit more. So I ended up earning an MBA, and I went into the coal mines for Consol Energy there. and was a manager on the long wall. Served with them for about 5 years. And then I switched over to manufacturing, global manufacturer based out of China. And they had a site in Pittsburgh. So managed their industrial products. During that time, I earned a second master's degree in construction management, construction engineering, along with a double associates in mining and electrical engineering. And this is coming from a guy I didn't think I was ever going to even qualify to go to college. So don't quit. Don't get siloed and don't listen to the naysayers. Even if you're the naysayer yourself, there's always opportunity out there. Then went into business brokerage, sold Main Street businesses, anything from $20 million and down. Expanded that business from Pittsburgh to Raleigh and Orlando. That's why I relocated the family here about 4 years ago to Raleigh, and did a stint with PwC on their mergers and acquisition side as a consultant, and then found hands down the best company I've ever worked for in my life with Fund That Flip. They did a LinkedIn post. It seemed interesting and jumped on board. And it has been a roller coaster of a ride, but no regrets whatsoever. It's been an amazing journey so far.
I have to agree, because we work with a lot of lenders, and by far, and you're going to hate that I'm going to say that. I'm not going to give it a number here, but I love you all because you can close quickly, and I won't tell you how fast you can do it, because then people will hold you to it. But when you're in a pinch and you're like, who can close quickly? Because us as real estate investors, we're working directly with sellers most of the time, and they're sometimes in a very dire situation where we're trying to save them from foreclosure. And so speed can be just a very important factor. And so you guys are my absolute number one to go to, because I know I can depend on you to close quickly, which is great. One thing I don't like about Fund That Flip, besides the phone book of documents that you have to sign, is that you take 3 months interest payment up front. And I'll tell you why I don't like it. It's great when you're doing like a normal flip that takes 8 to 12 months or whatever. It's awesome because in the beginning, you're just hustling to get the project started, and you don't have to worry about making those payments because you're like, boom, I already paid those. But when you're flipping, say, a condo or a townhome, I can literally own it for about 6 weeks because I can get in, flip it, and then sell it within 4 more weeks. So that's the only reason why. So listeners, when you're out there interviewing hard money lenders, those are the type of questions you want to ask. Do you require, payment up front for a couple months, et cetera? How quickly can you close? Do you allow second positions? Just things like that. So not all hard money lenders are created equal, but by far, you all are the easiest to work with. And I attribute that to you, Tim. And it was so funny because I ran into you recently. I'm like, oh my gosh, I know this guy. Who? Because we talk to you all the time, and you're an email address to me, And so I was like, wait, I know you. And you're like, yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh. And it was so great to see you in person and all of our connections. So, all right, blah, blah, blah. I'm taking over this whole thing here because I'm just so excited to have you on here. So, well, what makes Fund That Flip different? I said my likes and dislikes, but what makes you all different from others? I want to hear your version.
So in the hard money lending space, there's 10,000 lenders out there. And for all you new investors, it can be daunting. I mean, you do a Google search on hard money lenders and you got 16 pages right off the bat of everyone and anyone under the sun. What makes us different? We really specialize in getting people in market. So I'm a territory manager in North Carolina. So I have Winston-Salem to the coast, and my associate out in Charlotte, we divvy up Winston-Salem depending on who we get in contact personally with. And then he goes west to the border. We have right around a dozen territory managers stationed in all the major metropolitan areas on the East Coast: DC, Philly, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Indianapolis, Tampa, Jacksonville, Charlotte and Raleigh, Atlanta, all those. We want to be, it's not a sales pitch when we say we want to look at this as a partnership. We are in market. They pay us to be there and get our butts to the project, get in front of the partners, quote unquote, borrowers. And we want to dive into the project, act as a consultant, and we live in the market. So our network now becomes your network. I go on 20 meetings every single week. And I'm not just after bars. I go to attorneys and appraisers, inspectors.
Did you say I'm not just at bars? Is that what you just said?
Oh, no, I'm not just looking for borrowers. Sorry. But I do find myself at a lot of bars for meetups, hence our last meetup.
I'm like, that's why I love this guy, because, man, he's hanging out the bar with us. And that is just so unique to have people locally. It's so bizarre to me that I'm like, oh my gosh, this is our hard money lender, like coming and hanging out with us. You all are truly partners. I cut you off, but keep going. So
no, that's what we want to separate ourselves. We want to be a face to the name, not just Steve or John Smith that maybe lives out in San Diego that you don't know from, the next person going down the road. We're there, we're in market, and we show up. I mean, I've shown up and given donuts to crews on new construction projects, and we don't, those are subs,
right?
But it's just an added thing. We want to check on the project, make sure. And if there is issues, which there are always issues on every flip, every new build, there's going to be something. Nothing's perfect in life, and real estate investing is no different. So if we can go there, get updates in person live, we can jump out in front of those issues and iron them out before, they turn into a mountain, Yeah.
And I think being that you're, goodness, see, it's first thing in the morning. I keep clearing my throat. Sorry. Being that you are local, you all know the area, and you know so much more than all of these other hard money lenders that are sitting in an office up in New York. And these are the rules. This is how they lend. This is this, and you all and I said it in your intro, you all work tirelessly to find solutions. And that's why you are so, so great to work with. So I think we beat that dead horse, but that's why I'm so excited to have you on here. So let's dive into actual lending. Can you tell the listeners what are some like big red flags when they are looking for lenders? Say you don't lend in an area because you are not nationally, but as the listeners are listening, what are some big red flags that you would say, do not work with that company?
So I scour Facebook. That's how I connect with a lot of new people that I've never even heard of or met. I follow them, see what their projects are and what they're posting, especially wholesalers, because then I look for wholesalers to connect on good deals. I sort of visually underwrite them and then put them in front of our other partners that are in the fix and flip space or the new construction space. So when you're on Facebook, one of the biggest red flags that is like a key indicator that this is a scam is if you see 100% acquisition coverage and 100% rehab coverage. The private space, they can make their own rules. That is their own capital. However, in the hard money space, you have a capital stack and you have risk management. Any reputable place has risk management controls, and you have to put some skin in the game. And if you see 100 and 100, and then like you referred to, and then Gmail after in the email signature.
Yeah.
It's like,
so listeners, if somebody is sending you an email saying #1 hard money lender at gmail.com, I mean, come on, if they can't afford a real business email address, that's number one. I go, like, if I open it, I scroll right down. I'm like, oh, it's from a Gmail. Goodbye, block. So yes,
yep.
That's a big one. What about asking for a lot of money down?
Oh yeah, that is a huge red flag. We have formalized term sheets that come over e-signature, and I'm on the phone walking through our bars line by line, explaining every line item on there and the breakdown of the structure of the financing side, draw schedules, everything like that. We have a deposit that and we don't pocket that. That covers your appraisals and your draw fees for once the project is up and running. That's all credited towards your account to get the project off the ground. And we explain that. If you are getting told that you need to deposit $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 up front, that is another big red flag. All of those funds should be transacted at the closing table with the title company and or attorney. Please do not be wiring money out of your account in those large increments before you have anything or you're not in front of an attorney.
Yeah, and that happens, unfortunately, a lot because there are younger, thirsty investors. And please, if you're listening to this podcast, really do your due diligence, especially on who you're borrowing money from. You may be just so eager to get that money, get that first flip, that you're going to do anything to get it, and you can really get screwed. So when someone is paying something to fund that flip prior to closing, and what if the closing doesn't go through?
If closing goes through and there's obviously
doesn't go through.
Yeah, if circumstances come through, we refund the remainder.
Okay.
So if that money goes to the appraisal, we get the appraisal ordered and everything like that, and something like major liens or anything are found under the title search, we'll reimburse whatever's left over. Okay. That is just a straight wash on the money. We're not there to nickel and dime stuff. We want you in as many projects as you can and to scale to meet your goals. We're not there to, oh, hey, we can keep $100 from this person. It does not work like that with us.
Good. And how would a new person know what is different besides, oh, we need a $5,000 deposit versus we need $2,500 for an appraisal do you have documentation? Like, how does all that work?
Yep. So ours comes in, I will send you over a PDF version, me and my account executive, and we will be on the phone. Like I mentioned, we'll go line by line. We'll adjust those numbers to meet that specific project because we are not a cookie cutter hard money lender. We can move buckets of money around per project and make it specified to meet your exact situation. In terms of the deposit, ours is an e-sign, very, very formal, comes through a link, and the Stripe link is attached. Now, caveat to that is the scammers, they're a living, breathing entity. Right. So they get better, they learn. So just be wary. I would research the lender prior to, go to their website. As you mentioned, if they have a Gmail account and they're like, oh yeah, we did $1 billion. Well, if you did $1 billion, you can afford a $20 company email address. Things of that nature. You just have to be very wary and slow down. As you referred to earlier, in the investment world, deals move quickly, and that's why we exist. We have to be able to close quickly. We have to be able to get on the horse with you, because if you're buying off market, your value add is that you can move quickly.
Yes.
If not, why not just list it on the MLS with a realtor and go through the normal home transaction? That's why we exist. We have to meet your needs, and you have to meet the seller's needs to move quickly and value add there. Okay,
that's fantastic. And I also want to add, I said, the one thing I don't like is about the 3 months. If we were to do a quick flip, I also joked about the phone book of closing docs that we have to do. But I have to give you credit for this, because we had a situation with a different nameless hard money lender who, after the fact, was like, oh, we need your second position lender to sign this form to do and this second position lender was a first time lender, and it was nervous Nelly, and it really tarnished our relationship with that person, because that lender came back and said, oh no, now we need you to sign this subordination agreement, blah, blah, blah. You all up front, boom, anything and everything that could possibly happen, we're signing in that. So there is no going back. So I do actually appreciate that. I can't hold a spoon for a week after, because my hand is cramping so hard after signing your paper.
I tell everybody, I said, the only thing I'm going to hurt in your life is your wrist at closing. Unfortunately, with the way we're structured on the back end, and our attorneys, they have worked tirelessly to try to shrink those loan docs, but we just have several capital stacks on the backside that have to be accounted for, and all the legalese. So we're working on that, but if that's the headache we give you is a wrist cramp,
I absolutely respect it, because I don't like this playing catch up after the fact. So you all have done your job. You have done your research. Any possible, anything in the future that could happen. So I actually really do truly like that you are on it for that. So let's talk about structuring the financing. So pretty common, as I teach my students, is hard money lenders a lot of times will fund a percentage, say 80 to 85% of the purchase price and 100% of the rehab budget. And there's points involved, there is interest rates, and those type of things sometimes can't be negotiated, but you all do something a little different in your structuring of how much you lend, and it's based more on LTV. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes.
Okay.
Loan and initial distribution, all these things come into effect.
Okay. So first of all, explain what LTV is, how it can actually work to our benefit to work with someone who structures their financing through the LTV.
Yeah, LTV for all the first-time borrowers out there or people looking to get into the investing world. LTV stands for loan to value. So you have a value on the property, and that percentage rate is the amount that we're coming out of pocket to help that we'll cover on the financing side. So 70% loan to value, $100,000 property, will go up to $70,000 of the value of that property.
Okay, of the value that it currently is, or the after repair value?
After repair value.
Okay, because that's huge. So we have a closing tomorrow with you. Isn't it tomorrow? Yes. I think
yes, I believe so.
What's today? Thursday? Yes. So this is a property. I won't get too in the weeds here, but it's going to be a tear down rebuild. But what the demand is in this neighborhood is a huge return. So for us, it is very beneficial to go with a lender that does loan to value, because the value at the end is so much higher than our purchase of it. Okay. So explain, or I don't know if you have anything to add to that. Why is it better sometimes to do that, to use a loan to value type situation?
Yeah. In those situations, if you like your deal yourself, when you brought this over, I said, oh my God, this thing is a home run. We want to fund this all day long. So backing up on our viewpoint, when you have a deal that is so high value at the end, we look at, and to be completely honest, we look at the risk factor. Like, how much profit spread do you have at the end of this project? And yours is huge. So the risk is
I'm sorry, say that one more time. Mine is what?
Huge. These are the ones we live for. And as a territory manager, I love these. These are like the golden eggs that float out there. And you just absolutely love getting your hands around them and stuff like that. But on the loan to value and everything on this, all it is risk mitigation. The more value you have at the end of this project, the more we're willing to lend, because we're never overexposed. God forbid, say the market completely crumbled outside of any of our controls. We're still sitting on, there's so much equity in that project. Right. At the end of the day, worst case scenario, you disappear, leave the country, and we're left with this property. We can easily go get it off of our books, and we're not making money on it, but we're at least, the break-even point is very attainable for us. And we just love those projects all around.
Wonderful.
Very, very good for this one.
I love you funding those projects for us. All right. Another topic I want to kind of dive into. Why is it so great to have a partnership with a lender that is focused on helping you scale your business? How would a lender help scale my business? So
our greatest advantage, a lot of the other hard money lenders, and this is just their business model, they have very clear-cut LTV, LTC, all these metrics that they
What's LTC?
Loan to cost. So the cost of the will go up lenders will go up to a certain amount for the cost of all in on the project. And they all have their different metrics that they go off of. Ours, we can very easily customize the project by project. So if you're scaling, we have people that do 70 to 100 flips a year with us. We also have new construction. They'll do like 1,100 new builds, like over $200 million with us. So that's the broad range. We have people that do 2 flips and then 1,100 homes. And with the scalability, we provide the money, the capital is always there, because once you start scaling, you can't be shopping around. You can't be dealing with multitude of lenders at that point, because you have the processes in place and you need to focus on the next deal and scaling that business. So working with us, we can lower your cash to close. Say you're buying 5 flips in the month of May. And you're like, Tim, I'm going to be super liquid. I just exited 3 of them. I got a ton of profit off of them. So I'm willing to bring more to the closing table on these and I want 100% of my rehab covered on all of them. Next month, though, I'm going to be jammed up. I'm going to have 15 projects going on at once. So my liquidity is not going to be there, but I'll have it in 3 months. So in those instances, I'll fully fund the rehab and you'll bring a little bit more skin in the game on those projects. But then the next month, when you're not as liquid, I'll lower that rehab budget. So it's also, you're not paying for the loan amount either. You're going to be coming out of pocket to get the rehab difference. So we can customize those loans, bring the rehab budget down, the cash to close down to get you in that next 5 or however many it is. Sometimes it's 100. And you go on to the next thing. So we can move those buckets of money around very easily and customize it to meet your business needs at that specific time for that specific project.
Awesome. And that's all I can say about that. It's just because when you think about the lender that is sitting up in an office in New York and, they are literally like, this is how we lend money and there are no exceptions, so that's why I say, again, you guys are great to work with. I also want to talk about the draws. And I actually coach students that if they are going to be borrowing a second position to, so they aren't bringing money to the table, they're keeping their assets, their liquidity, so that it helps them have a stronger loan. I always tell them to borrow a little bit extra from that second position to help with paying contractors immediately, because hard money lenders, how they work is you hold on to the rehab budget. You hold on to that. It's in a bucket and your bank
account,
whatever. Yes, exactly. And so we have to do X, Y, and Z, make sure it's finished, pay our contractors, then submit for a draw with our hard money lender. They send someone out to take pictures and they say, yes, we approve it. And it still takes a good 7 to 10 days sometimes to get that money replenished back into our bank account. So you all have something. Are we allowed to even talk about this?
I think we could. I think we can mention it. We'll see. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we aren't getting released for we're probably into July now. So hopefully this will be okay. Good. Yeah. I should have asked before doing this, but how are you all different when it comes to draws?
So currently, in all of my email signatures,
you just wiped a bead of sweat off your forehead. Did I put you in a bad position here?
I'm going into the darkness here. You guys are getting insider information. So the way we currently do is very similar to a lot of our other hard money lenders. We use a third party, so yes, they don't have a leg in the race. We contract with them. That's what part of your deposit goes to, is that draw fee. We have to get a third party inspector out there. So in my email signature and all of my teams, there's a link at the bottom, request draw. So what we like to do is, if you have a project going on and say you're flipping a house and you're redoing the kitchen, and that's going to be your first draw on that. And your contractor's in there working and it's going to be completed by Thursday. We'll go into my email signature, click the link, put in the information. It's very simple on what you're wanting to do. We have your scope of work already in the file, so we know what you're requesting. You do that on Tuesday.
Okay.
So Tuesday afternoon, our servicing employee there at Fund That Flip will contract that third-party inspector to come out, and it will be scheduled for Thursday. So when the work is completed, that inspector's showing up that day, signing off on the work. They take pictures, take notes, send the report back to us. And as in this climate right now, we are usually around 48 hours to get the funds sent out. So, but to show how much of a partner we are constantly working to get better, because I'm an investor myself, and my whole team, they're all investors. They all own rental properties. They all do flips. So we understand the hardships that can come through on a draw request. And sometimes the hands are tied because you're moving large sums of money around, and It doesn't always happen instantly. However, we're looking to roll out a program shortly here. We're raising a fund internally, and we would like to have an app that will geotag your location. So you, as the investor, can go in, take pictures. The app will geotag your location so you cannot lie, and it timestamps all the photos. So you can't be at another project. There could be a lot of fraud in this, if it's not controlled. However, we're trying to set it up in a way where you can eventually just show up to your project, take pictures and video, depending on what is required on that specific draw. The amount you put in your request, it links up to that. And then we'll have a fund where we can be able to pay you directly. And then we take the time to get it from our capital partners on the back end on our side. So we take the burden of the time turnaround and keep you moving forward. So these are different areas where we're trying to get programs rolled out. There is some time before we get this rolled out, but we are actively working to get that all structured and make your lives easier on your end.
I just got to let this sink in a little bit. I love this because, when you're borrowing extra money so say to do a project, it's $400,000 for, purchase price, rehab budget, interest, all that stuff. But then you're tacking on $450,000. Me as the investor, I'm paying interest. Now it could be a slam dunk deal where it doesn't really make a difference, but this just means more money in my pocket. And that's why we love working with you all. You all just are innovators when it comes to these type of things. I mean, geotagging, oh my goodness, this is going to be so awesome. So Tim, thank you so much for sharing all this. You heard me give a badassery bestowment at the beginning. Do you have a short piece of advice that you can share with my audience listeners?
I'll tell you this, to be completely honest, there's 10,000 of us, like I mentioned before. Find someone that, forgive my language, but actually gives a shit about you and your business.
I can't believe you said shit on my show. Oh my goodness.
I mean, honestly, because we're not a discount lender. We are not going to chase rates and points to the bottom like these other shops, because honestly, they're out, wherever, San Diego or Manhattan.
Yes.
You are an Excel line item. With us, our team is there. I answer calls at 11:30 on Saturday nights because if you are calling me, that means it's important to you. So it should be important to me, and me and my team, I hold them accountable as they hold me accountable, and we pick up and we're there for you. We don't want to just, oh, hey, it's the weekend. Weekends don't exist in our world. We're here to help on every step of the way to make sure your projects are successful and you can meet your business goals and personal goals. That's what we're here for.
Well, we are truly grateful for you. We love working with you. And one rule though, listeners, you do have to have 2 flips under your belt, correct?
Yes. Or if you structure an LLC, there's ways around that. If you have a friend that's experienced, you can structure an LLC together, partner in that LLC. Both of you personally guarantee on that, and that will get you spun up and into the game. And once you have the experience that meets our criteria, then you can break off and go on your own. No problem whatsoever. We do it all the time because it's not that we don't want to fund those. It's just that you need to have some proof that you're able to not just walk away and give up, because real estate investing is not a passive world. It is a lot of hard work, and it shows with our successful borrowers and partners there. They've been through the ringer a time or two. You open up the walls. There's some scary stuff sometimes that was unplanned, and we want to make sure that you're going to stand up and make sure see the project through and make it a success.
Well, I like that because I had forgotten that you all will accept a partnership with someone who does have the experience. So that's great. So how do the listeners find you and submit a project to you for possible funding?
Go to our website, Fund That Flip. You can upload loan requests there. Any of our borrowers out there will hopefully refer us over. My direct contact information. Jen, you're more than welcome to share that for the Raleigh-Durham market down to the Wilmington coast. You get online, you reach out, and we'll put you in contact with the local territory manager. And they'll be more than happy to meet up at your project, take you out to coffee, lunch, dinner, beers. We're there. We're there. Whatever your vice is, we're there, and we'll make stuff happen, learn about the project, and see how to best structure it for you.
Well, thank you so much. The second part of the podcast is what makes Tim a badass, and you are truly a badass, and I'm so grateful to have you. I get to call you friend. The first B in badass is B for book. What is a book that's made a huge difference in your life? I'd
have to say, hands down, The Compound Effect.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's such an easy read, but the way it just changes your perspective. You don't have to do some crazy change in your life to start achieving success. It's the little things. I think in that book, they went and they said about eating a Hershey Kiss or some type of candy and how many calories that was. And just cutting that one a day, or if you're eating a bag of them a day, go to 3 and then 2, 1, just chisel away and make your habits better. And that compound effect, it's like compound interest.
Yes.
It doesn't go, it's like a hockey stick. It goes flat, doesn't seem like you're making any ground. And then all of a sudden you're like a rocket ship and there's nothing ahead of you but success and happy times. So
I'm a little disappointed you said hockey stick because of our loss last night when we're recording this.
Yes.
So the Hurricanes, and I'm from Florida, and the first hockey team that I loved were the Florida Panthers. And but anyway, we are Hurricane fans up here. So yes, but
the tough night last
I know,
night.
hockey stick. I'm crying in my coffee. Okay. All right. Moving on. The first A in badass is for advice. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
I would say, if you have to chase money, it will always outrun you. If you're building a business, no matter if it's in real estate investing, focus on value add. Bring something of value to the market, because when you chase money, I mean, people realize that if you're just in it to turn a profit, like every single step of the way, then it's going to fail. I've seen it 100 times with friends, family, colleagues, associates. If you go to add value, that is where success, stems from. So every step of the way, make it better than the last time you did it, make it better for the end user, the customer, whatever business you're in, always try to add value.
And I think that goes back to you all wanting investors to have at least 2 flips under their belt, because how many people get in this industry and think, I'm going to flip a house, and they're chasing the dollar. That's exactly what they're doing. They get through that first flip. They don't make much. They just didn't do a great value add, as you're saying, and wasn't successful. So I do think that's a good strategy to have had, especially when you're dealing with money, to have had 2 flips under your belt, and then the chasing of that dollar, because there really truly are 2 different type of investors out there. And the ones that are providing value are the ones that are going to last as well, over and over and over again. So well said. All right. The D in badass is for drive. What drives you to be successful? And I think I hear 2 of them in my backyard all the time. Is it your people like, what are you talking about?
My oldest boy.
Oh, it's your oldest. Okay. His oldest son goes to a school right behind my house, and I hear them out in recess all the time. So, but anyway, what drives you to be successful?
I would have to say, hands down, my family.
Yes.
I have a beautiful wife and 2 wonderful children. They make me get up every day and want to be a better man, better husband, better father. And everything I do revolves around them. So I want them to have the best life, just be better than I am at the end of the day. So
you do have a pretty fun life. I stalk you on Facebook a little bit. So you do go to some pretty cool places. I like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. All right.
It's always
experiences. All right. The second A in badass is for aspiration. I'm a big goal setter. So what is a goal you are currently working on?
I'm like I mentioned, I'm a real estate investor myself. I have some partners up in Pittsburgh that we're actually working with right now on closing. We're going under contract on 2 duplexes and a possible triplex tomorrow. I got all of my partners' signatures today, so we're submitting offers on those, and it's an off-market deal. So we shouldn't have much competition and lock those up. But I would like to build out a personal portfolio of around 100 rentals, long-term, short-term, midterm. And I'm also working on developing getting a land deal together to build out. And with all my connections with builders, I would like to go through my first entitlement, doing it myself, and getting those builders in and selling them off, and value add all around.
Oh, I like this, partner. I like hearing all these things. So it's so funny you said 100 rentals, because a friend competitor of mine at a friendly competition, he said, I'm going to have 100 doors by the end of this year. And I said, well, I'm going to have 101 just to, and I actually said it for last year. I didn't get, we ended up with 20 doors last year. So that's still close, from, not having any. So yeah, I think 100 is a really nice number. Very good. All right. The first S in badass is for systems. What systems do you have in place to help you achieve success?
Hands down, being in this with the Fund That Flip, we're meant to be in market. We got to meet as many people as we can because that just broadens the deal scope and doing business and helping people. So if you're new to investing or you've been through the game, network. Your network is your net worth.
Yes.
I mean, everybody's heard that phrase, and it is so true. I have run into obstacles and issues with my own personal portfolio, along with partners that have projects going on, and they're like, Tim, I need a plumber. I need an architect. I need an appraiser. This needs turned around quickly. And it's like, if I wasn't putting myself out there and going to these meetups, the real estate meetups, in another caveat to that is get out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
If you're introverted, everybody's different, but do yourself a favor, go to these meetups and just give yourself a number. Maybe the first time you go, be a wallflower and just talk to one person. Get out of your comfort zone, because guess what? Most of those people are nervous too. They don't know anybody. They're in the same boat. Get out of that comfort zone and meet them, because I'll tell you what, there's some beautiful, beautiful people out there. And if you don't open your mouth to say hi, they'll pass right by and you'll never have them in your life. So get out of your comfort zone and talk to people, because that next great deal might be a hi or a hello away.
Yes. And I have to kind of tack on to this, because people listening right now, my avatar that I send this show out into showland for, the person that I think I am doing this show for is the first-time investor who's struggling to get their first deal, who's trying to put all the pieces together. But to hear it coming from you, the guy with the money, to say network, and you are the one going out there meeting people. And sometimes, you can be nervous going out and, if you don't know anyone, and I'm glad you said that sometimes you can be nervous too, to meet, to go there, but say hi to those people. But people like you are at these events, at these networking events, that you want to meet them as much as they need to meet you. So I love that you said that. And P.S. on this, I brought a first timer with me to our meetup, 2 weeks ago? And
yep.
I just mentioned to him yesterday, my friend Joe Gocher, I said, yeah, I'm interviewing my friend Tim tomorrow. He goes, oh, Tim Harvilla. I'm like, hey, you newbie. Like, he already knew your last name. And I was like, that is awesome. So you do a great job at that. Good. Excellent. All right. The final S to wrap this up is for success. What does success mean to Tim Harvilla?
I want people to remember my name, and have a positive impact on their life.
Yes.
I want them to associate when I came into their life that I brought value, positivity, and hopefully, help them change or find some type of path to success and to be able to accomplish their goals. That's what we're all here for, whatever avenue you're in life or industry or whatever it is. You just want to make the world a better place than when you found it. That's all we can ask for. That's all we can do. And hopefully through this profession with Fund That Flip, we can really make a lasting impact on that avenue of life, on real estate investing.
Well, I know firsthand you have made a lasting impact on my life, and I'm truly grateful for that. And I absolutely remember your name. I didn't remember your face when we first, but I definitely know your name, and that is very true. Tim, thank you so much for being on the show with us today.
Thank you very much, Jen, for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
It's been a pleasure.
And we got a closing tomorrow. So Tim, thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
Well, that is all. Thank you for listening, and we will catch you on the next episode. Now, go out there and share your badassery. And don't forget, make it a great day. Take care. Bye-bye. Whoop, whoop.
Thank you for listening to RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. If you need more badassery, you can follow Jen Josie by visiting therealjenjosie.com or become a member of RAIN by registering on rainmastermind.com.